Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is CMG Talk and I am Catherine Gallagher, your host. This is me. I am going live for a short session talking about motivation. It's a subject that comes up often and many times within my practice. I have many people, whether it's result coaching or whether it is within training or indeed within my counselling therapy practice. I'm asked a lot about motivation, making things happen. How do you make something happen? Particularly if it's something you don't particularly want to do. It's something that you are procrastinating about. You put off. You will leave to the last moment. That's right. It's that very thing. The thing you're thinking about right now. That's something that you have put off, delayed, parked, right? Just couldn't quite get yourself round to doing. Often people talk to me about studying or that DIY. Or is it something big, applying for something new, making a change that needs to be made? Is it something important? Is there a deadline that has to be made, but you can't quite get and muster up the enthusiasm? Is it getting organised, putting in structure? Is it self-care, exercise, eating healthily? Is it planning an event? Are you going to buy something for someone, a birthday or a celebration? Do you have to find that occasion wear for something special and you can't quite muster up the enthusiasm? How do we motivate ourselves? People will ask me for motivation. I can't give them motivation. Surprisingly enough, when people come to me and the expectation is I will make it easy for them. Somehow I have a bag of tricks available to dish out and hand out. Of course, I might have strategies. I might have those leveling up skills. And sometimes there is a bit of impatience for me from them to get it done. And I have to tell them the truth that actually I don't do it. They do. I can impart my wisdom. I can share insights. I can tell them the many skills that I have spoke to literally tens of thousands of people and the success and results that often inspire and motivate people. There you go. Knowing past results can motivate. Other people's stories, success stories can motivate. People will often feel motivated if they know that I have had great, actually fantastic, excellent results. They might feel motivated to come and speak to me and listen to me when they hear and know and understand that I'm actually pretty good at what I do. So I'm told, right? What motivates is different for different people. Motivation comes, but it doesn't come along first. The doing brings along motivation. It's our mindset that brings along motivation. It's planting the seeds, setting the conditions. It's putting down the right conditions. When we do, we feel and we act upon that. We get inspired, encouraged. We see results and we then feel motivated. The doing is what makes the change. The thinking is just an idea. The motivation comes from doing, practicing and practicing And practicing gives us amazing and fantastic and brilliant outcomes and results. And motivation is then inspired to keep going. The momentum continues. It's hard, it's difficult, it's exhausting, it seems impossible, it's overwhelming. These are many things that people say to me. I hear, I can't be bothered, I don't feel like it, it's too difficult, I talk myself out of it. I ask people, what are your reasons? Because nobody likes to say they have excuses. What are your reasons for not doing this? What are your reasons? What is it that you tell yourself? And what do you need to be telling yourself to get it done, to make it happen, to prioritize yourself, to be able to say that this is what I need, not only what I want, this is what I need. If we focus on the desired outcome, if we keep in mind the purpose, what makes it possible to achieve it is we break it down into small, measurable, achievable, smart outcomes. If you look at the steps and the goals, often we say, I don't know where to start. At the beginning. Well, where's that? Find the first step. The first step can be writing down a list of what is needed. Organising our thoughts. You see, when we keep it in our head, it stays an idea. When we write it down, it becomes a plan. When we keep in mind that plan and we visit it, revisit it, and we constantly work through it so that we are constantly seeing it growing and actually evolving and changing as we are seeing results, then it becomes inspired. We're creating and achieving. And if we acknowledge the successes that we're having, the outcomes we're achieving, and we talk about it and speak up and we tell people, look, you know, I said I was going to do whatever it is. Well, look, I've already made inroads. I've already started on it. I'm getting there. The results are happening. Then people that are on your side, good people, your people that are on your side, will motivate you with encouraging words, will validate your successes by saying, that's amazing, well done, keep up the good work. And if you need an accountability person, that person that checks in with you, that comes along with you on that journey, choose an accountability person wisely. You'll have heard me say this before if you're listening into my episodes. Because you want someone that inspires, motivates, encourages, not someone that berates you, right? And sees a power trip. You want somebody who's going to be kind and compassionate and caring, but encouraging and will hold you to account. It's good to have that person, whoever it is. It might be a neighbour, it might be a trusted friend, it might be your partner, it might be a best friend, it might be a cousin, a brother, a sister. Whoever it is, that person is that trusted person that is your own best champion. Ideally, learning that inner talk where when we do struggle, when things don't work out as we had thought it would, it's just understanding that we need to change the script. We need to accommodate and adapt. Motivating ourselves is a skill. It's something that's really important to be able to do. Whatever you're motivating yourself for, whether it's to do with planning and saving, whether it's to do with motivating yourself to go up and tidy, whether it's to do with motivating yourself to go out and get a new career. It might be you're motivating yourself to plan an event. It could be anything. Start with what you want the ideal outcome to be and work backwards. If it's something you need to have happen by a certain time scale, be realistic about the time that you need and give yourself just a little bit more leeway, a bit of wiggle room to be able to reach that time, particularly if it's study time you need. Whatever it is you're motivating yourself, always make sure you appreciate and give gratitude. Validate what you're doing well. Be prepared to hold yourself to account. If you are not following through, if you're not committed and motivated, if you really aren't going to be following through on something, you need to be questioning and holding yourself accountable. Ask yourself, be responsible, and ask yourself, is this something that I truly want to achieve? Is it something that I truly want to achieve? How much of a goal is this for me? Is this a life passion? Is this something that needs to happen? Is it something I want to happen? How much do I desire this in my life? Is it healthy for me? Is it necessary for me? Am I committed enough to make this happen? Focused, planned goals are necessary. We avoid pain. We're attracted to things that give us pleasure. If it's about eating healthily, our brain doesn't like to be told. As human beings, we don't like to be told we have to do without. If you start looking at dieting, then our brain doesn't really like to be told we can't have nice things, whether it's savoury or sweet things. If you start looking at eating things that are healthier for you and seeing that is savouring and enjoying good food, you change your frame of reference. You change how you actually have a relationship with food. You enjoy healthier food. Choose food that are healthier, but make the food tasty. Whatever it is you're motivating yourself for, give yourself the time scale. Prepare to make the time available to make it happen. Be realistic with how long it's going to take. Someone once said to me not so long ago that they wanted to lose weight, and I said, what for? And they said, does it make a difference? I said, well, you're more likely to attain that if you have a reason for it. What's your purpose? And they said, well, where do I start? I said, I don't know. Where do you start? And they said, I don't feel healthy. I said, so you want to feel healthier? They said, yes. I said, what would that look like? What would it feel like? How would you feel? What would your ideal healthy self be like? What could you do that you're not doing right now? And they started building up a list and an idea of what they would look like, how would they feel like, what would they be able to do that they felt they couldn't do right now. Whether they couldn't do them just now or not, it's a different matter. It's their perception. And then I got them to write a book and then write a commitment statement and then be realistic of how long it would take for them. And then they saw it as a choice every day. Day-to-day choice every day. And gradually they started losing that weight because they made a plan and then a day-to-day choice of how they were going to lose weight. And then what they did was, instead of saying I'm losing weight, they said I'm gaining back myself. I'm gaining back a healthier version of myself. I want to be like myself and like myself better. And they made a commitment statement that they said to themselves every day. And every day they spent a couple of minutes visualising and picturing what that would look like and feel like. And they realised that if they chose to eat something unhealthy that was indulgent, they would have to compromise further along the line. And as they started then changing their taste buds because they weren't eating things that were unhealthy, they were starting to choose healthier options. They realised the balance there and their taste buds changed. And they started embracing healthier choices and options because they were choosing to. It didn't feel like a punishment. It felt like a journey and a choice. And they felt they were on a life's journey. It wasn't for just now, it was what they were going to be doing. And they realised that they could treat themselves, but they needed to wait until they felt they were able to do that and they felt they were more in control. Motivating yourself, having a plan and making it structured. What you say to yourself, how you talk to yourself, being realistic, giving yourself time scales, setting those goals, but you have to revisit the goals and nurture those goals and revise. You have to be prepared to constantly see it as a work in progress. If you're only writing or thinking about things periodically, now and again, as and when it takes you, you're never really going to get there with that goal. But if the goals come out every day and you're constantly looking at where you are with them and where you have the right resources and are you making inroads, and it might be that it's a work in progress. It might be a 5-year goal, or it might be a 10-year goal, it might be a 2-month goal. You might have to wait for other purposes. I've had a goal that I had for 25 years and it's just been completed. I've had one that was 5 years and it's literally just been completed. But I had a constant reminder that came up and it counted down and it told me where I was at. I was focused, motivated, and I was really committed to following through on these particular goals. I had a goal to set up a podcast and I'm delivering on that. I've had goals throughout my career and throughout my life. There are things I compromise in and other things that are uncompromisable because I know my worth. Why do you think my podcast says you are worthy? Because you have to believe that you are worthy. When you're motivating yourself, you need to know the purpose and the goals and your values and the purpose of these goals. Do they fit in and align with your core values? Is it something that you want? Is it something you need? Does it align with your life? Will it add value to your life? What motivates and inspires you? Sometimes we have something we need to do, but we don't really want to do it because it's going to take effort. We're not really committed to it, but it's nice to talk about it. But we're not really putting the effort or the energy, the time into it. Sometimes we have something that we feel ought to be done. But can we really do it? Does it mean that we're being selfish? Or is it something we're being self-full about? Where's the purpose? Motivation. Can you see how to motivate yourself with that particular thing that you need to motivate yourself with? Do you need to recruit people on board to help it happen? Do you need to become more focused and goal-orientated? Giving it a time scale, setting out a plan, visiting that plan every day. Is it about being realistic and reasonable with your expectations? Do you need to dream big and set down what you want to aspire to? Do you need to make some reasonable sacrifices to make it happen? What is it that you are needing to do right now in your life? And how do you motivate and inspire yourself? Start with your mindset. Reframe. If you want it, you will make it happen. That's a fact. There are always ways of making things happen. You have to be creative. You have to see it, believe it, to dream it and achieve it. You have to set down the conditions to make it happen. You can always consult with a result coach who will help you to make it happen. Being focused, setting goals, following through, and being prepared for things to maybe not go exactly how you plan it to, but realising that you need to hold on in there and show resilience and follow through. Taking the right advice is always important too. Motivation comes from within. It comes from within us, ultimately. We can be motivated and inspired by other people, other people's words. People will say to me that I motivate them, I'll inspire them, I encourage them, but ultimately they take the action to make it happen. Give credit where credit's due. I don't own other people's successes. I give credit where credit's due. You need to do that too for you. Motivation comes from within us all. Each of us can motivate ourselves if we choose to. Whether it's to do with motivating ourselves from feeling low moods, it's possible to do that. We just have to be prepared to take one step forward at a time. We have to be prepared to look at what we're grateful for rather than what we feel we're missing out on. We have to see things that are working for us and not just focus on the things that we're not getting or that are not working for us. To motivate ourselves takes us being prepared to make a change. But we know that if we motivate ourselves, we're actually driving ourselves forward to something different. And often something much better, much healthier. So why would you not motivate yourself? Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep motivated.